Good day, Sven the Slayer here once again with another Starmade video. This will be episode 1 of a new series I'm starting called Practical Logic. The goal of this series is to create tutorials how to cover basic information on creating practical circuits for your ships and stations in Starmade. And to be practical, they have to be compact, easy to interface with, or easy to paste in. The more complex circuits I probably won't be able to do one-to-one tutorials on, but I can at least provide a template ship. All these videos should come with my demonstration template ships I will upload, as well as some other plans I have worked out but just haven't gotten around to doing. Need to get the basics out of the way before I can start covering, the more in-depth, neat contraptions and stuff you can do. So let's begin. Alright, so the basics. Starmade logic has two states, high and low. Off and on is acceptable, but I will be using high and low. Keeps things clearer in my head. High signals, low signals, high pulse, low pulse, as opposed to an off pulse. Just keeps things clear. Off and on, perfectly acceptable, but for these tutorials it'll be high and low. So the default state is low. Anything orange is at a low state. Blue would be the high state. And it also has a nice little glow of blue. So this is an activator. It is your basic in and out. It's what players should be interacting with. They are also essential for interacting with things like area triggers and docking modules. And they're also great for creating wiring chains and whatnot. So if you don't want your circuits lines to be visible, you can run them into the floor and out of sight, run them through floors and walls and whatnot. Additionally, you can have circuits feeding directly back into themselves. Well, you can't have one block feed directly into itself. That doesn't make any sense, but if something's connected to something else, you can also have that connected back to it. So it's capable of two-way communication. And one of the first questions I had when I first started doing logic was how to control a circuit from multiple points. So what we have here is your basic button. It's called a pulse monostable circuit, pulse shortener, lots of different words, pulsar, lots of different terms for it, but it basically turns on and turns off right away, on off, high to low. Sends a high pulse. So this would be the circuit I'm trying to interface with, and if I just do that, it'll pulse, but then I have to toggle that before I can make it pulse again. But if I also feed it into the circuit, into this chain line here, I can toggle it from any point I want. So that's a very useful thing. You can have big ships with buttons all over the ship, controlling a single circuit in your logic closet, whatever your ships has, and you don't need buttons at each location. You just need a single switch. And I will be going over all the different pulses in the next tutorial. So next up is your OR and AND gates. They are polar opposites of each other, and probably not for every situation, but I found in most situations switching out ORs for ANDs will invert the function of the circuit. So RS NOR gates, the memory cells, take high pulses to activate, and RS NAND gates take low pulses to switch. And switching, having this guy over here, if I were to switch that AND with an OR, it would pulse low instead of pulsing high. So the OR is on when any input is also high. So high when any is high, and I say I'm not keeping them straight. I'm trying to keep them straight, but just not doing it. On and off, like I said, on and off, perfectly acceptable. But yeah. And they are also low when all inputs are low. So AND is all inputs high. It'll be high. Any of the inputs are low, low. So polar opposites of each other. A NOT gate simply inverts the signal, and the delay adds a half-second delay to propagate signals. And then finally you have additional input systems, such as the step trigger and the area trigger over here. So the area trigger will toggle when you pass through it. Now, and the step trigger, obviously step on it, and you can even trigger it by rubbing up against it. It'll even work in gravity, without gravity, but it's less reliable, as you can see. But yeah, get a little freaky with it and it goes. Step triggers can also be toggled on and off with activators, so you can have a step trigger linked up to a pulse, so when you trigger it, it'll turn itself back off. As well as activators and not activators. Area triggers must be next to an activator in order to function. They do not function by themselves. And these are also best when used with a pulse, because I've seen, if you wire this directly into a door, you can open the door, back out, and the next time you try and go through the door, it'll close. So it's best to use a pulse to pulse the door open, and then it'll close it right away, so the next time somebody comes around, they don't get a, try and walk through and get a door in the face. And there's more, such as docking interfaces, but I will cover them in their own tutorial when I get there. Such as this guy here. This is a docking interface circuit. And as you can see, I got quite a bit to cover. I hope that made sense. I'm trying to cover it best I can. Feel free to ask any questions, anything you're unclear about. As I said, I will be releasing this little demonstration ship. And that's it for now. See you next time.